Johnny, let's end the show, though, going into a little bit of DC. We went Sony, Sony Marvel, then strictly Marvel. Now we're into the DC universe, and what we're looking at today is there's no news of this. There's no actual rumblings of this. There was just somebody, I believe, at Cinecon while Henry Cavill was promoting Fallout, which is a new Mission Impossible movie. Someone asked him about a Man of Steel 2, and he was like, you know what? I really like a Man of Steel 2, kind of gave a little things about what he would like with it, but nothing real juicy. So I decided today, let's do something that we've done before that we like doing. We did it with Black Widow. We also did it again with Batman.
Yeah, we did.
And let's kind of construct a story for what we would want Man of Steel 2 to be. Here's the first thing I want to say, and this is my whole thing with DC right now. Stop trying to do the connective universe. Just stop. Don't even try to do it. Because the thing that I think that they should do, separate all the heroes. Batman's by himself. Superman's by himself. Wonder Woman, Flash. You can create all these little pockets, and then when you want them to interact with each other, they can't. So it's Superman, I would keep him off to the side, let them kind of build this superhero universe, now bringing in what happened at the end of Man of Steel 1, where one, he told the general, hey, you got to convince Washington to kind of let me do my thing. There was also the other scene where the secret identity, we see him becoming Clark Kent at the Daily Bugle with Lois Lane. I want to ask you, though, you started off Man of Steel 2, what should the story be? Give us one thing that should be in the story or that you would want to kind of inspire the story of a Man of Steel 2.
Well, you're more of the DC guy than I am, so I don't... They kind of ruined the two ones that I really know about is anything with Doomsday.
Yeah.
Because we can't do that because of Batman v Superman. And we can't do Death of Superman because, again, that was ruined by Batman v Superman. So those are the two storylines I really knew about. So I can go off, really for me, it's more of I can go off of villains, and I don't really know a ton of Superman storylines just because I didn't really read any of the Superman comics. I watched it on TV, but the one that really comes to mind is throwing in something with Brainiac.
Okay.
I know there's so many incarnations and so many different things you can do with Brainiac, so I mean...
Here's the question I have with that. Yeah. This is the thing that brings me up. And for a Man of Steel 2, would you want to do that with because they have the Krypton TV show, and I know that it's TV, movie, they don't even relate to each other, but DC having the Krypton TV show, Brainiac being the main villain in that, Brainiac, I agree, great villain. I almost pulled up a comic with Brainiac in it, but that was the one caveat that I had, was it, because he's in the Krypton TV show, do we want two things in the medium to have the same villain? Do you think it even matters? I don't
think it matters because, like you stated, sort of, and what we've stated before in other podcasts,
they're not related.
They're not related. They don't connect. There's nothing. They're like, okay, no, none of this has to do with ours. I mean, otherwise, the Flash is kind of a problematic tie there. So I mean, no, I don't think that's too much of a problem. I mean, the other one that I was looking through just villains to start with. Another one that caught my eye was Metallo.
Okay,
was another one. I'm not sure I'm not sure storylines include them, but it would be an interesting villain to have out there as well.
The thing with Superman is there's so many villains that you could use. The thing is, how are you going to incorporate these villains? Yeah, that's the thing. Because let's be completely honest, the one that is probably the easiest villain to use would be Lex Luthor. Yeah, you already have him kind of introduced. You already have him basically. To me, the Lex Luthor we saw at the end of Justice League 10 times better than the Joker Lex Luthor we saw in BVS.
Yeah. Well, now, the other thing I was trying to go off of, too, and I know you wanted to more so say, well, forget that little thing. Well, I don't remember if it was the director or not director, but the person talking about it, Henry Cavill and whoever else it was, were saying, well, we wanted to come off of the first Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys kind of like put yourself in a bind because you kind of narrowed down your storylines because you didn't introduce Luthor until the Batman v Superman. There's a lot of things that you took away just because of Batman v Superman. And so you kind of narrowed your stuff down. Well, I mean, this would be a great way to, if DC's going to keep going with the extended universe style thing in some senses of that, do this one as a Brainiac thing and Superman defeats him. And then later on in the movies, Brainiac combined with Luthor, because I know that happens.
Here's one that I'm kind of looking at.
Go for it.
And it is, the one that I'm looking at is, it's called Superman Birthright.
Okay.
And just some of the things, let me see if I can pull up the actual kind of. So this is one that it's a 12-issue miniseries that was for the modern day Superman. And just one of the stories, I'll give you a little snippet of it. So this was Superman Birthright number 5. On Clark Kent's first day in Metropolis, which you can kind of do because at the end of Man of Steel, it was technically his first day on the job at the Daily Planet. I said Daily Bugle earlier. People are going to get in trouble. That's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
we were just talking Marvel. I meant Daily Planet. But on Clark Kent's first day in Metropolis, he also has his first confrontation with Lex Luthor as Superman. When several Wayne Tech helicopters go crazy and start killing people, Superman tracks down signals to LexCorp and confronts him. Superman embarrasses the city leader on the front page of the Daily Bugle. Superman's first adult meeting with Luthor is perfect. Wade is a huge fan of the original Superman movie, so the best part is the Superman 1978 reference when he calls Lex Luthor a diseased maniac, just like in the movie. Luthor's still a savvy businessman, willing to do anything to make a buck, but in this interpretation, he's an astrobiologist and a scientist. It merges two different interpretations of Luthor. That's a storyline, and I know that's only one issue that I read, but like I read that and I went, you can kind of do that same thing with Superman, where it would have to be a story to where it's his first day, almost his first day on the job in Metropolis. Because Man of Steel, we didn't get a whole lot of him saving Metropolis, being the hero of Metropolis. Basically, it was, I have my own family issues to deal with. I've got to basically deal with them, because that's how you have the thing at the end where you have the general be like, well, what do I tell Washington? They're not going to like this. How can we trust you? Kind of a thing, to where maybe by this point, because you can say because of BVS, because Justice League and that, maybe it's more of like a Superman's more of a household name at this point. And I think to me, the biggest thing that has always been, I don't want to say the problem with Superman, but this is the main thing with Superman, whether it's comics or movies, is that you either love or don't love Superman because of how relatable he is. You either think he's super relatable to humans in everyday life. Like I know two of my friends who are huge Superman fans think he's so relatable. Whereas me, I was never like, yeah, I liked Superman because he was part of the DC umbrella. But to me, I was more Batman because Batman was more relatable. Yeah. He was a guy without powers. Yeah, he was fucking rich, but he was a guy without powers doing the superhero thing. Whereas I always looked at Superman and I'm like, I can never be Superman because I'm not an alien. I'm not from another planet. I'm not this, but hey, I could be just like Bruce Wayne. I could be just like him, even if I don't have the money. But you can also look at Superman. Yeah, you can be the same thing without being from another planet. Just be a good person like Superman is.
Yeah, it all comes down to what you feel is more relatable in that sense. I get you.
Yeah.
Another one I was thinking of and looking at it, sort of a tie-in of the Death of Superman.
Okay.
More so the stories that come after
Because
it.
we've already done Death of Superman.
Yeah, more so the stories that come like straight after it, which is kind of Doomsday, A Funeral for a Friend, and Reign of the Supermen.
Okay.
So that could be kind of a tie-in of, hey, this is what happened while he died, then the Justice League movie happened over there, and then kind of...
Jeez, because that's one where you get Steel, you've got that Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, hold on, I'll click on it and get you...
Oh, man, one other
Superboy and Eradicator.
Yeah, the Eradicator. He's the Cyborg Superman.
Yeah.
That's basically just, he scans people and then decides whether he's going to kill you or not.
Yeah.
Superboy was kind of like a flamboyant version of Superman.
I like that description.
Well, he was like Superman with a leather jacket. What else was there? There was Steel. I'm trying to think if those were the only three. I think there's one more I'm missing.
Well,
but
it's
yeah.
Steel, Cyborg, Superman, Superboy, and Eradicator.
Okay.
According to the synopsis.
So then there's the four of them.
Yeah, and what would be cool is it says in here, and I don't know specifically who, because I was quick reading it. Two of them are disproven, just like that. Okay, you guys aren't Superman, but it is Eradicator and one other one. And it's like, we don't know who's Superman because they have some of the memories of Superman as well.
That's right, and I think I might be wrong with this, but I don't think I am. I think the Cyborg Superman, he's the one where I don't remember exactly who it was, but this guy, kind of Reed Richards style, Fantastic Four. Him and his family go up to space.
Yeah.
They get blown up. His reality or his consciousness gets thrown into a computer, or he gets thrown into a birthing pod.
Yeah.
That is of the same race of Superman.
Okay.
It's Kryptonian. So, I mean, that's how he can merge and have the same thing as Superman because his consciousness got into a birthing pod for a Kryptonian.
But it would be interesting. That would be an interesting story because you can kind of like float along with Death of Superman and kind of go like stuff Superman has to deal with after BVS or after not BVS, after Justice League when they all kind of split off, do their own thing. Yeah, it's like, shit, there's people impersonating me. Now I have to deal with this. You're fake. You're fake. Shit, how do I prove these two are fake?
Well, here's the real question. I want to ask you this first before this is kind of an aside to the Man of Steel 2 discussion. Do you think we're going to see Superman in the Shazam movie?
If anything,
there's that
cameo-ish
too.
type thing.
I mean, because Superman has been, I'm not saying like a major part.
No.
But as Shazam is getting his powers, will Superman show up at some point? Because Shazam, Billy Batson Shazam, the kid, is a huge fan of Superman.
Which is why he loves it when you finally gets the powers.
Exactly. Like, he's like, holy crap, I'm Superman.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm Superman. I can do everything Superman can. So that's another thing to throw into it. And I didn't even ask you kind of what I said at the beginning. Should they go and kind of ignore what we did in BVS or Justice League? And if he's in Shazam, ignore that? Or should they go, you know what, we are starting right after Man of Steel and we're ignoring all that?
Don't ignore what you've done, but kind of like start splitting them off. And then, like you said, do what you said. You've already connected all this stuff. Just stick with what you've got and branch it off into, okay, everyone's doing their own thing. Kind of like they do with the Avengers.
Yeah.
Everyone did their own thing. Avengers movie.
Thor Ragnarok was basically Thor.
And
Thor and the Hulk.
Yeah, well, Thor Ragnarok was Thor and the Hulk. Iron Man 3 was just Iron Man. You had
Spider-Man Homecoming
was just Spider-Man. Captain America Civil War. Well, the wrong one. I meant the Winter Soldier.
And Iron Man was in Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, and then you had Winter Soldier, where it's just Captain America and Sidekick.
Really, we've had 4 movies that have had everybody.
Yeah.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, Civil War, which isn't an Avengers movie, but it basically is.
Close to, yeah.
And then Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like those, only 4 of those movies
had almost,
everyone.
if not everyone.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, but we split off and do our own things, and then come back. Which I love the argument of, well, why didn't he call so and so? Because that was happening.
Yeah.
Captain America didn't help Tony because he had his own shit going on.
Yeah, he had his own thing too, and that's why for me, I feel like the easiest thing for them to do without overcomplicating things is getting a story that has Lex Luthor at the main kind of the main verse of being the bad guy.
That would work too.
Because I feel like if you introduce a new bad guy, like there's one story, even though I didn't like the graphic novel, I would love to see on the silver screen, and that's Red Sun. Do you know about Superman Red Sun? Or do you want me to explain it to you?
Where he gets, like when he crash lands, it's in Russia, right?
Yes. So that's an alternative universe where if Superman landed in Russia?
Yeah.
And he's basically he's a commie. He's got the, what is it called? The
hammer and sickle.
Yeah, the hammer and sickle on his chest. And he's basically Putin's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Well, he would be Putin's right-hand man. It wasn't Putin at the time.
No.
But he'd basically be Putin's right-hand man.
In that era, I think it was Stalin?
Yes, it was.
Stalin's right-hand
man. So Stalin's right-hand man, basically doing whatever. What was Stalin? Was he considered the Kremlin? Was that what he was called back then?
No, I think that was.
Or was that beforehand?
I think that he was before that.
Basically, whatever Stalin wanted, Superman did.
Yeah, he was part of the Iron Curtain in a sense. He was part of the communist regime of Russia,
which would be an interesting thing to tell. However, the thing I didn't like at the end, spoiler for it, was that there's a time loop at the end, and it basically made everything pointless. Everything that just happened was pointless. Because I know in that one we've got
Damn you, Flash.
One of the coolest versions of Batman. Basically, think Batman, but with like not gray, a brown winter coat and like one of those Russian hats that have like the flaps that can go up. That was our Batman that we had. So it was Russian Batman as well, which was pretty cool. I would like that, but I don't know how that translates into the story they're doing now.
Just because the story we have, I don't think they'd be able to do that.
I think they would need, to me in Man of Steel 2, what I would want to happen is I would want, 1, the main villain to be Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
2, I would want to explore because Man of Steel 1, we explored everything about his family. Everything about his dad, about Mr. Kent, kind of teaching him life lessons, him learning from both Martha and Papa.
Don't show off your powers.
Yeah, don't show off your powers kind of a thing. But in this one, I want it to be more Lois. Build that relationship between him and Lois more, because we didn't really, we kind of got that, like, oh, she misses him, and oh, he's gone, and oh, she kind of wants him to be next to her while she's laying in bed. But I want to see that more. Those are the two things I want from Man of Steel. Maybe it's one of the things where Lex Luthor is the main villain, but Superman might find out, oh crap, he's putting together a Legion of Doom. Yeah,
maybe that one. I'm still thinking about the Reign of the Superman, only because I'm not opposed to the Lex Luthor being the main villain type thing. But my other thought is most of them are kind of one-offs if you really wanted to make it that way. You could make a majority of them one-offs. I mean, Steel just comes back later and does his own thing.
Because who's a member of the Legion of Doom? Brainiac.
Yeah, very true.
So, I mean, you could have it to where Brainiac's the villain. Maybe Lex Luthor finds him somehow
at the end, after credit scene type thing.
Or it's just Brainiac's the villain and Lex Luthor recruits him.
At
basically,
the end?
a verse Avengers, where it's basically instead of us recruiting all these heroes, it's Lex Luthor recruiting all these baddies.
Yeah, that would be
at the end of different DC movies.
He Nick Fury's it.
Holy shit! Think about it. We've got also Bizarro's in it too. I wouldn't throw out Bizarro Superman yet.
Not
I
yet.
would save that
save
one.
Him.
Think about it though. Black Manta, who is going to be in Aquaman.
Yeah.
Cheetah, who is going to be in Wonder Woman 2. Gorilla Grodd, Riddler, Scarecrow.
Captain Cold was in it before, right?
Captain Cold was in the TV.
Oh, it was
Captain
in the TV
Cold
one?
has not been in the movies yet. But however, Flashpoint, we don't know which. However, didn't Barry Allen in Justice League mention a Gorilla Grodd?
Maybe.
Because no, that was it. In Justice League, there was an Easter egg in the back that he was learning something about gorillas. Why would he need to learn about gorillas? Gorilla Grodd. So we know Gorilla Grodd is present in the universe.
Okay.
So
I didn't remember.
there's whatever Flash villain you want to throw in, but for sure Cheetah and Black Manta. Who knows if they throw the Scarecrow or Riddler into the Batman movies? Like, they can do it to where it's like, hey, we're going to have all these one-shots, but then at the end, the post-credit scene is Lex Luthor recruiting them
Nick
into...
Furying it.
Yeah, Nick Furying it. Maybe for Batman, they use Deathstroke, because they've already kind of incorporated him into it.
Well, he can be the secondary recruiting person, like, hey... Lex, so-and-so has an offer for you.
Yeah. But that's what I would think would be cool, is maybe he fights Brainiac and at the end Lex Luthor says, hey, we're putting together a team, or Deathstroke comes up and says, hey, we're putting together a team. I think with Brainiac it would be Lex.
Yeah, no, Lex, because it's intelligence to intelligence.
Yeah.
They want to... Someone that can actually talk to Brainiac, that can be on his level in a sense.
You know who I would love to see in a DC movie? Solomon Grundy.
Yes.
God, I get it. It's basically the Hulk. It's basically the Hulk with a button-down shirt and a suit jacket on.
Just technically a dead guy.
It's basically what it is. It's a dead Hulk because he's big like the Hulk.
Grundy, born on a Monday.
Oh, I would love. Any final things for Man of Steel before we wrap this shindig up?
I'm on board with that one too. Now that you came back to my Brainiac idea.
Was there any final ones that you were thinking about that you want to throw out there?
No, like I said, I'm not as in tune to the Superman storylines as you are, so those would be my thoughts. The ones I gave out, the Brainiac one or the Reign of the Supermen were my two main ideas.
My other one, and this would be only because of they're making fun of what they said in Justice League, where he said he basically said truth, justice, and the American way. There's a comic called What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way, where that plot is it features the Elites, a team of superpowered anti-heroes fortified by Manchester Black, who gained worldwide popularity for viciously killing their foes. Despite the acclaim and approval of the Elite are enjoying, Superman believes that they are in the wrong, continually defying the Elite even after they save a city. As tensions between them finally culminate in a mass showdown taking place on Jupiter's moons and Superman's request, Superman, taking advantage of the fight being taped, makes it appear as though he has killed the Elite members, really using his speed to get them out of harm's way at the last minute so that nobody sees it. To show the public that violence is never a positive thing, stating that he will never stop fighting his way to show the world. Not exactly that, but I could see them doing maybe something like that, where Superman has to show the world, like, hey, violence ain't the answer. Violence is not the answer. You can do it without this. Like, I did not kill, like, whatever foe, I did not kill this foe. He did not die.
You don't have to kill them.
Exactly. You don't have to kill them to stop it. And basically being that good role model, because that's what Superman is. He's a Boy Scout. True and true. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below. What story would you like to see for Man of Steel 2? What do you think that DC should do for that movie in the future? I want to thank you guys for watching and listening to the Rick and Johnny podcast. Housekeeping at the end. Totally forgot to do it at the beginning for this one.
Shame on you.
I'm going to blame that on events that happened this week. But little housekeeping here at the end of the podcast. Number one, if you want to support the channel, make sure to go to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Number two, go down below in the description to see our store link where you can buy an MVP t-shirt. Make sure to check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you can catch MVP each and every day. And last but not least, go on to iTunes and Apple Podcasts.
There you go.
Give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. Want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.